I'm Nick Altmeyer with linkinglewiscounty.com. We're here this afternoon with John Lehman. John's running for District 1 Legislator in Lewis County in the November 7th election this year. District 1 represents the entire town of Diana and the northern portions of the town of Croghan.
Correct.
Okay, and John will be running on the Republican, Conservative, and Freedom Party lines. John's a resident of the Indian River area. Spent 8 years on the Beaver River Central School Board of Education, served as vice president for 1 year, 6 years as a Croghan Town Councilman, and 17 years on the executive board of the Teamsters Union. John's also a member of the Project Safe Community initiative in the Harrisville area, and John just came in today to talk a little bit about his candidacy and some of the things that are going on and issues that are affecting the county. So if you wanted to open a little bit with anything, John, that maybe the reasons that you chose to run and what some of your goals might be, and then we'll get into some of the questions.
Okay, I can do that. The reason I decided to run, well, our legislator's retiring, Phil Hathaway, and he did a good job for our district. He really has. Phil's done a good job. And the reason I decided to run, I figured the time was right. I got the experience now. When Phil got hired, I was interviewed at that time, and I'm really glad I didn't get it at the time, because I see now I didn't have the experience. Now I feel like I do. And I think I got some stuff to offer the county, you know, different opinions and stuff on things that sometimes ain't brought up.
Okay, great. So we had some questions here that we were going to go over with any of the candidates that were interested in doing an interview. Okay. We kind of just to in transparency, we did show you the questions beforehand, right, as we are with everybody else, just so you kind of, I feel it's probably best to have a knowledgeable answer, and then not, you know, obviously they're just general questions, so just kind of give you a little bit so we actually get, and you know, so you're not nervous and on the spot and when we're asking the questions. But I guess the first topic we'll cover is wind power. With multiple wind turbine projects proposed in the county, the board has recently taken the position that while they support Fort Drum, they would like to see the state's Article 10 site review process run its course for each project, instead of making a blanket statement for or against wind turbines in general. What is your position on wind turbine issue in Lewis County, and do you support the board's current position?
I very much support wind towers, and I do support their position. And I was glad at the last meeting I attended in Croghan that they decided to write a letter to our representatives stating our position and making them understand that we have communicated with Fort Drum, with the general down there, and he's not against wind power. He just wanted to be part of something, so he knows what's going on. And now they're part of Article 10, so they're going to be right in the middle of it. Right. So any controversy is pretty much cleared up. You don't need new laws to duplicate what you have.
Okay, great. Education's another topic, higher education in the county. The county approved $4 million in funding to build a JCC Extension Center at Maple Ridge back in August of 2016. This was done to offer manufacturing and agribusiness training and certificate programs for residents of Lewis County. The project's kind of stalled at the moment while the county and JCC work out an operating agreement. How important do you feel it is for Lewis County to support and improve higher education opportunities?
I think it's something that should have been done years ago. It was my understanding years ago Jefferson Community College was going to be built in Lewis County, and at that time nobody on the board really saw a reason for it, and it's sad that it was that way, but I think it needs to be done. There is all kinds of room for training that needs to be done here. Keep your people local. And with JCC, they're kind of dragging their feet with what happened with the state right now and the funding, but they're looking at Mohawk, and I think Utica also now maybe being involved in it. So I think it's great.
Okay, so if elected, you would be in favor of moving forward and continuing the process with bringing some sort of higher education to Lewis County?
Oh, by all means, definitely.
Great. Shared services is another big topic that has come up recently. With property tax caps, increased state mandated program funding, and other challenges, budgeting has become more and more difficult each year. not only from county legislators, but I'm sure you notice on the town end as well. From a county perspective, what areas would you like to see more effort put into shared services between local municipalities?
There's some opportunities there. Maybe they could share judges. I mean, like New Bremen and Krogan could share a judge, and maybe even at some point town supervisors and supervisors of highways and things like that. It's a hard sell because every community wants their own little thing to do, and
right.
But it's a hard sell. But I think it's coming to that. Even with fire departments and stuff, I think you're going to see it. I really do.
And then as far as not even so much as personnel, but sometimes with equipment, maybe equipment purchases, maybe every highway department doesn't need the same piece of equipment, and there could be more sharing with things like that.
Exactly. In town of Krogan, we're really fortunate. We have 4 or 5 towns around us that I think we do a great job sharing services for blacktop and drawn sand, and you know, if we need a roller, the county's been very good to us, and the county's been very good with sharing stuff with at least the town of Krogan. I don't know how they are with other townships, and then we give back. You know, we let them use our trailers to move stuff, and so. But there's always room for improvement. There's
already a lot of shared services in place, but
there definitely is.
There are areas that you could see that could be improved upon.
Yes.
Okay, great. Facility planning. That's another topic that the board's been dealing with. I guess we can say recently, although it has been kind of an ongoing issue for a while. The board recently approved a study to come up with a strategic plan for county facilities. The board feels a strategic plan would help the decision-making process for upgrading and maintaining current facilities and determining if new facilities need to be constructed. Would you be in favor of the county developing and following a strategic plan for facilities?
Oh yeah, they definitely need a plan. I mean, you need a 5-year and you need a 10-year plan, and this will give them an opportunity what all these individual buildings are costing just in rent and maintenance, and would it be cheaper to have everything under one roof? And I think they're going to find out in the long run it will be, and there again is where your wind power comes in. You know, that money is available to use for stuff like this, so you don't have to raise taxes, which is great, right. Because that's how we built our emergency system here in Lewis County, was with the windmill money.
Yep. And actually, that's where the a good portion of the $4 million for that's been set aside for the JCC Extension Center.
Yes, it has.
A good portion of that has come from windmill money too. Broadband is another current topic in the area. The county has been working with Mohawk Networks to establish broadband access for underserved areas of the county. The county has allowed access to 911 towers for equipment installation as Mohawk Networks works on constructing a network. Do you feel broadband access is an important asset to the county? And if elected, do you support continuing to work with Mohawk Networks with their broadband project?
Definitely. It's a need we've had for a long time. And a good example was the Newton Falls mills up there. That's one of the reasons they just couldn't stay in business. I mean, they couldn't process orders fast enough, and things like that. And I'm sure Kraft and all the mills around here run into it. It's a great opportunity, maybe to get some rent from our towers and make some money off that. And I think they work well with the county, from what I've heard.
And that kind of segues into our next topic of infrastructure and job creation. What areas would you like to see the county address in terms of improving infrastructure and promoting job opportunities?
Well, with the industrial park they're looking at building here in Lowville, across from the hospital, I guess, is the land they're looking at buying. First, they're going to have to address the water and sewer needs. I mean, with Kraft right now, the problem's really showing up. Right. And until you address that, it's going to be hard. I mean, and I'd like to see the county step up and see if there's some way they could help Lowville improve both them systems, so that if someone wants to move in, you are shovel ready, technically.
Right. Okay. Employee health insurance has been a big cost for the county. Increases in healthcare insurance costs for county employees have been a steady line item increase in the budget. What ideas would you bring to the table to address the rising costs associated with the county's self-funded insurance program? And also, kind of on similar but different note, how important do you feel it is for the county to retain ownership of the hospital?
Well, starting with the insurance, it's so hard when you have such a small group and self-insured. All it takes is one person, say with cancer treatment, you know, and it's costing you $300,000–400,000 a year. Your rates just go crazy because you don't have the numbers in there. And I don't know. We are through Blue Shield too at Teamsters and Potsdam. We have our own plan, but most of us have gone to an HRA plan, which is a lot cheaper to do. You have a debit card, you pay your copay with. There are different options out there I think they really need to look at, because the plan they're in now is just not sustainable.
So you'd be in favor of looking over some different options and kind of...
Definitely.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of options out there, but it's a time-consuming thing.
For sure. And as far as the last couple of years, it hasn't been so much of an issue. The hospital's been showing a little bit more of a profit and has been paying back the money that the county had lent to them a few years ago. Do you think it's important for the county to retain ownership of the hospital? Is that a good asset for the county and something positive for...
Oh, I think it's very positive for the county. I would hate to see it privatized. I really would, because we've put so much effort into that, and every year they just seem to add something to it to make it better.
Right.
I mean, it is fantastic what they've did up there, and they are getting on good financial ground. Right. But there again, it's so hard right now with this Affordable Care Act thing, whether it's going to be repealed, replaced, and that's going to be a big burden one way or another.
Right.
And our representatives need to let Albany know where we're at with that.
Yeah. It's a lot of the rural hospitals that rely heavily on a lot of the subsidies and Medicare payments, and any changes to things like that could adversely impact hospitals such as Lewis County General. Great. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the voters, John, before they go out and vote on November 7th?
One thing I would like to say is make sure when you go out to vote this year, you turn your ballot over. There's some very, very important things on the back of that ballot.
That's a good point.
From opening up the New York State Constitution to a lot of environmental things on the back. And it's very important you read them through. And as far as voting, just get out and vote. That's the main thing.
Yep.
You know, win, lose, draw, you know, that ain't what it's about. It's about doing, you know, this is one of the few rights we have left. Use it.
Definitely. And we'll try to put something out too on the propositions that you'll be seeing on the back of your ballots, just to kind of educate people a little bit on what some of those issues are and what they mean specifically for Lewis County. So, well, John, we really appreciate you coming in today, and thank you for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Good luck on November 7th.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.